Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today I'm going to review the PSVR 2 for you. Now, I just got this yesterday and you're probably thinking, man, what qualifies you to review the PSVR 2 after only spending literally a whole day playing it and part of this morning waking up and playing it? Well, I'll tell you, man, I've been into VR for a while. Here's my Meta Quest 2. You can see up there, there's the box for my PSVR 1 that I bought. I am the market that VR. I am the target market for VR. I really love sim racing. Sim racing is probably my all-time favorite experience when it comes to video games. I can literally sit down and play racing games for hours upon hours at a time. And the PSVR 2 literally had me playing Gran Turismo 7 almost all day yesterday. Almost all day. I had to check out like some of the other games. So is what I did for the PSVR 2 when I bought this so that I could do this review. I bought the Call of the Mountain bundle. I picked up Resident Evil Village on the PlayStation 5. I already had that on the Xbox and the PC. And then I also picked up that kayak game. I picked up the kayak game. So I played, the three. I figure right now the three main games on there right now, AAA wise, are going to be your Gran Turismo, your Resident Evil Village, and the Call of the Mountain. Those are going to be your AAA experiences that you're going to get for the PlayStation. Now, yes, you are going to get bombarded with AA and indie titles throughout the rest of this generation for your PSVR 2. There's going to be a lot of those. A lot of them are going to feel like tech demos. A lot of them are going to feel like small, incomplete experiences. You're going to get that. But at the same time, if you're coming from PSVR 1, you know how that went. I know how that went. Everybody knows how that went. There was a very few games that really could be considered like actual games. Beat Saber literally carrying the load for PSVR, as well as a few other titles. That Blood and Truth that came with my other PSVR, that wasn't a terrible experience. It was pretty fun, but I'm not really into the whole transport to a different place and play a shooting game. It makes me feel like we went backward to the days of like House of the Dead. And things like that, where you would just be on rails shooters and stuff. And I didn't really like that. I mean, there is more interactivity when it comes to those shooting games. You're like moving around, you're looking, you're aiming your stuff. And it does feel considerably better than an on rails shooter. Like it does. Once you put on your VR headset, or a VR headset just in general, and you're in that experience and you're in that world, it has a pretty decent way of tricking your brain. Like most of the time, like you're still in a game, but it feels unlike anything you've ever played on a 2D screen. Like it just does. It's simply more immersive, and it doesn't matter too much really about the visuals of the game. Like even Beat Saber being in there, it's cool. Like you feel like you're transported into that space. You feel like you're interacting with that environment, and it tricks your brain good enough to understand that, like, yeah, you're still in a video game, but yes, you are in a virtual space. When I picked up my very first VR headset, which was it was that little Samsung thing. You could stick your phone in there and you can experience VR. You could watch movies in VR and stuff like that. I was like, whoa, this is pretty cool. But it didn't really have a whole lot of interactivity with that. It was just kind of like that was more of like a roller coaster thing and stuff like that. But it was pretty cool. It tricked your brain. So when the PSVR came out, I was like, yeah, all right, I'm intrigued. We got that. The family played that. We had a good time with that. We actually played a lot of that. It wasn't until, the new generation of consoles that we actually stopped playing that. We stopped playing it. And then it just sat there. It really did just sit there because we were already moved on to the new console generation, playing all of that stuff. And yeah, we just kind of stopped playing that. Well, then MetaQuest 2 comes out, so I picked that up, bought like Beat Saber, bought the rock climbing game, bought Resident Evil 4, bought some other stuff. But when I figured out that I could use it with the PC and start playing my sim racing games, that's when everything in VR changed for me. That's when I was like, "Wow, this is incredible." It worked pretty decently with the without the link cable for a while, and then I bought the link cable actually just a few weeks ago, and the experience got even better because then I could run it, 120 FPS. I was being able to play all my racing games, and that was truly immersive. And that was my first real taste of like, whoa, this is really, really good. So enter PSVR 2 and Gran Turismo 7. Man, I am happy to tell you that not only does this game look stunning in VR, but it is the best, like the most immersive out of all of them that I've played. Dirt Rally 2.0 and Automobilista 2 are very good. They're very good on your PC. As is a set, of course, a Competizione. They all look good. They all play good. They're good. But the sense of speed you get in Gran Turismo 7, coupled with the HDR quality of the PSVR 2, unlike anything I've played yet. The OLED is beautiful, breathtaking. It's so immersive when you're in there and you're experiencing this VR this VR with the HDR content. Simply incredible. Like at night, driving at night. Now, if you played racing games and you're driving at night, usually it's so dark you can barely see. It's kind of frustrating. Well, PSVR completely gets rid of that. Completely gets rid of that. Like the lights are bright, you can see what you're doing. The HDR of the sky and everything, it pops. It makes it look really good, like you're actually out driving at night, but with bright headlights, and it's cool. When people are behind you, you can see their headlights coming through the mirror and everything else, and it looks cool. Like it looks cool. Like it feels pretty dang realistic. Now, I can't stress the sense of speed enough. It feels incredible when you're in a fast car like the Ferrari, GT Vision, or you're in the or you're in an F1 car. Wow, it is incredible. It is incredible. It's so immersive that you just feel that you can just look and feel like this overwhelming sense of like, whoa, you're in this race. You could see like when the other cars, the cars that are really low, they hit the ground and the sparks come off and they shooting sparks and they bounce around on the ground and stuff. It looks incredible. The the attention to detail in this is incredible. So the one track that you're gonna notice that kind of looks a little bit off in my experience so far will be the Nordschleife because of all the trees. They kind of just look like 2D flat trees, and that, man, I love the Nordschleife. I love going to the Nordschleife and racing, putting down laps. Like that is super fun, and it still looks good enough in VR that I'm just like, okay, all right, yeah, I get it. I understand there's a lot of trees here. It definitely looks different. Now you could tell, I mean, it all makes sense after Gran Turismo 7 launching and just kind of looking at like the toned down visuals. You're just like, wow, man, this just looks like an upgraded PS4 version of Gran Turismo Sport. And I understand why they did that now. When you experience this in VR, like you will understand that as well. And you'll be like, okay, all right, it makes sense. Because in VR, it looks incredible. Like the game looks phenomenal in VR. And that's due to, like the trade-offs that they made through the visuals. And I feel like it was worth it. I feel like those sacrifices and that sacrifice of overall realism really helps the VR version of this really shine. So if you're not interested in VR and you're one of those Gran Turismo guys, like I that does suck for you, man, because you're going to be rocking something that looks kind of cross-gen for the rest of this generation. But for you Gran Turismo fans out there that are going to invest in the PSVR headset to play that game, yeah, man, you're gonna have fun. So let's talk about like cost. Is this worth the $550 cost of entry to get into this? If you look behind me, you'll notice that I have a racing simulator cockpit. I have a direct drive wheel. and other things. And you all know that those are not exactly cheap. That setup right there for the cock for the wheel and for the base, that's 750 bucks all alone. The cockpit's $500. The Thrustmaster TX that I bought for the Xbox, that was 500 bucks. $200 for pedals, $1,300 for an OLED 55-inch screen. Um, well, yeah, man, your VR headset literally works as a 1080p OLED screen that has HDR support with it. I think it looks fine when I'm playing the 2D games and I'm looking at it. It looks fine. Like it actually looks really good. But then again, I have been playing on a 1440p monitor for the last year and a half. So I'm a little more used to lower resolution and things being downsampled, because that's what it's doing. It's downsampling that 2D image in your PSVR 2 headset. Like you're getting a downsampled image, so it's pretty nice. It looks pretty dang good. Now you will notice like a little bit of when you're moving your head around and stuff while you're playing, you are going to notice like a little bit of alias and stuff like that. But it's not bad. It's not anything that's going to it. If that's all you got, like if your wife or your kids or somebody's watching the TV and you still want to play video games, you got your headphones that pop right into your ear. Boop, boop. You could sit there and play it, and the headset on your head, super comfortable, super comfortable. You barely know it's there. It's nice. It's light. It feels like this feels light, very light. The new the new gasket right here for your face. Wow, it really does lock out all the brightness. You don't get any brightness when you're in there. It's truly immersive. Now I want to switch over to the I don't want to make this review super duper long because I want people to watch most of it. I want to switch over to the other three games that aren't Gran Turismo. I want to talk about that kayak game for a minute. That game is really cool, but the kayak game is one of those indie AA games that are going to make you think like, wow, man, this doesn't really look super visual appealing, but it looks good. It does look good. It is a super immersive experience. I was playing last night. I actually recorded a bunch of footage for these games last night. Well, I thought I was recording it. And yeah, man, like those were some pretty cool moments that I'm not going to be able to replicate because I didn't hit the freaking record button, so I don't have that footage. And that really sucks. So you're going to get pretty much mostly some Gran Turismo footage. But I want to talk about like that game right there, that kayak game. It was like $22. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty fun experience. It definitely has some it's a novelty thing though. It's definitely one of those novelty things so far from what I can see. There is some kayak racing, there's some other stuff in there, and the controls and the paddling and everything, it's pretty immersive. Like it is really immersive. You'll be able to do like some stuff. You could pedal really fast. You could take long strokes, stuff like that, and it's pretty fun. Like it is pretty immersive, and it's definitely worth checking out. Not worth buying a system for, but definitely worth checking out. So there's games that are worth buying a PSVR 2 headset for: Gran Turismo 7, Call of the Mountain. So far, okay, let's talk about that one for a minute because that's the one that comes with it. That's the one that's pretty much the selling face of your PSVR 2. And I'm going to tell you right now, after playing a lot of those first person shooter type games in VR, I like Call of the Mountain. I like the fact that you can just kind of move your arms like this to move. I like that you can, do different gestures to like jump across things. Like you would jump with your arms, like you like pull back and then you jump. I like the climbing in there. It feels really intuitive, feels pretty good. The combat system with the bow. Yeah, it's cool. You can just rapid fire. You can, take long shots. It's pretty cool. Like it's pretty cool. I got a lot to figure out in there, but like dodging, you just kind of move your arms to the side, boom, boom, or you hold down a button and you kind of just flick your wrist a little bit to like turn your head. I like that. I didn't feel sick at all. 100% incredible. Like I like the way they did that. I like the way that all the movement is up to me. Like I can turn, I can do whatever I want. I can look around, and then it's cool when you're climbing the rocks and stuff. Let's talk about visuals on that one too. But when you're climbing the rocks and you get up there and you see like some grass sitting over on the thing, you can brush it with your hands and stuff, and it all moves. It's all interactive. It's cool. I really like that. Now let's talk about visuals on Call of the Mountain. Now this is the highest fidelity game I've ever seen in VR. Like it is. Like it's so high fidelity. And when you look over and like Aloy's talking to you and stuff, yes, you'll see Aloy in the game. Sorry, I didn't mean to spoil that, but you'll see her, and it's cool. Like you're sitting there, and you can see all like the strands of her hair and everything. Like it was cool, man. Like I really like the attention to detail that went into the Call of the Mountain. I think it's a great experience, but I don't think it's one that is like, man, this is a system seller. Like it's cool. It's cool. The sense of scale and like the sense of scale of the machines and the environment and everything, it looks cool. Like it is freaking incredible. Like it will be fun to play around with. Now, if they can continue to build out experiences that are like Call of the Mountain, that are like Gran Turismo 7, that are like Resident Evil Village, I think that those type of experiences are going to really bring VR to the forefront. Now let's talk about Resident Evil Village for a minute. Now I only played about a half an hour of this one. I've already beat this game. And what I could tell you is getting into that game and actually looking at the experience in VR, I am truly surprised at just how much fidelity they were able to retain from this experience. It looks good. Now, when you first start, you're gonna have to go through like this tutorial thing, which looks rather VR. Like it looks pretty VR, like a normal VR experience that you would be playing on like your MetaQuest and stuff like that. At least in the training area. Once you get into the actual main game that was created for like PlayStation 5 and Xbox and PC, once you get into there, it's instantly like the materials and everything kind of change, and it looks in like a lot better. It looks much better once you move from the training facility over to that. Everything starts to look a lot closer to what it looks like in the game when you're walking around your house as Ethan, and you're looking at things and you're looking at the shadowing and the HDR and just the quality of the textures and like the rugs and the glasses, in the textures of Mia's face, the baby in Rose's face. It's incredibly immersive. Now, one thing I don't like about Resident Evil is the whole freaking arm. Like I just need the hands. I just need the hands of VR. I don't like having the arms. To me, that just I don't like the way that looks for me personally. It especially like when like in game, I don't like the way it looks. But when you're like watching it like out of game or something, yeah, it kind of looks cool. It just looks like two arms are like floating right there, and I don't like that. I don't like that look. I like the ones that just show you the hands. Like Horizon Call of the Mountain did it perfectly. You just got your hands and you can like move them around. I like that. I'd rather have invisible arms and see my hands than actually have, like the whole arm there, because it just looks weird when you look down and you only got like two arms sitting there. It looks kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie, it looks weird. So do I think PSVR 2 is worth it right now? Yeah, dude, I do. I think it's worth it. I'm so glad I picked this up. I am. I'm truly excited that I decided to pick this up and give it a go, because man, I probably wouldn't have bought this otherwise, because I was kind of on the fence, man. I was kind of on the fence, but I decided, all right, man, I'm going to buy three things for the channel this year. I'm going to do the PSVR 2, the Steam Deck, and the new OLED, LG OLED. I'm glad that I went with the PSVR 2 first. This thing is incredible. Literally incredible. Especially if you're a sim racer and you're into Gran Turismo. If you're a sim racer and you're into Gran Turismo, yes, this is a must-buy experience. This is a must-have experience. If you are somebody that just wants to get in there and experience VR for the first time, ooh, man, it's going to be a little bit frustrating, man. VR is a little bit frustrating, especially in setup and all of that kind of stuff. You're going to want to take your time. You're going to have to like sit back. You're going to be excited. I was very excited. You're going to be excited. You're going to have that like, oh yeah, I just want to plug and play. you have to stop. You have to think. You have to take your time. You have to realize that there's going to be interesting little bugs, like you'll go get into a game and like your buttons won't work. That's something that they're doing with the Call of the Mountain right now. The like you'll get in the game and like the buttons won't work. I had to completely get out, charge my controllers, get in there and set them up, and it worked just fine. Like it worked just fine. You're going to be reading some forums, stuff like that. You're going to be listening to people, watching videos, trying to find ways to get into this stuff. If you're new to VR, be patient with it. Be patient with it. Have some fun with it. Start off slow with certain experiences. If you run out and just buy a whole bunch of stuff and like nothing pleases you, you're gonna have a negative opinion about VR, and that's the last thing I want to see you do on this channel, is have a negative opinion of VR. VR is a niche product, but it is continuously growing. It is getting better, and the products, the titles, the software that we've gotten with the launch of PSVR 2 really does give me hope for the future of VR. Because I had gotten to a point where I was just like, nope, I'm just gonna do sim racing. I don't care about the rest of it. But Call of the Mountain really did kind of give me that feeling like, wow, this actually could be good. Once they start to use how to learn, once developers learn how to utilize the tools and the set that is in the PSVR 2, this is going to be cool, man. This is going to be cool. I do expect better games to come out. Firewalls Ultra, this is the second game they've made. This one's going to be incredible. Definitely looking forward to that. There's some, like sword fighting games that are coming out that look pretty cool. There's some cool stuff on the horizon. There's some cool stuff on the horizon, and I will be interested in checking out a bunch of this stuff. So I do think that PSVR 2 is worth the investment. I do, especially if you're into sim racing. If you're into other stuff, it's a little bit tougher of a sell, but as long as you're patient with it, it's fine. But do not let it just become a paperweight. Don't let it become a dust collector. Don't let it become a dust collector. Experience things, try new things, have fun. Have fun with this experience, watch videos, try to get into things and learn. Try to find that one game that you can continuously go back to and keep playing and experiencing. Something like Beat Saber or something like that really just has unlimited playtime. And you'll be fine as long as you can find that game that fills that niche that makes it worth it for you. I think VR is incredible. If you can't, if you're what I like to call the gamers with anxiety that always need to be like, oh, to doing new things, or they just don't have the patience to wait for another title, don't get VR just yet. If you're that person, don't get VR just yet, because it's harder to sell these things off in the resale market than it is. Like if you buy PSVR 2, you have to be committed to it. It is going to take commitment to get into this to really have fun. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will be doing more follow-up videos on the PSVR 2 over the course of this channel as more content comes out and I create stuff. I'm excited for the future of PSVR 2. I am truly excited for this. This is incredible. I bought this with my own money. Sony didn't send me anything. They never send me anything. They don't even probably know I exist, except for when they get that money from me every freaking time they put out a new product. So yeah, I do believe in PSVR 2. I do. I'm sold. I was 100% sold with Gran Turismo 7 after the first race. I was 100% sold. But I wanted to play more. I wanted to experience more, and I wanted to be able to give you the best information that I could possibly find for you. And I do. I think PSVR 2 is worth it. If you can find that one title, that one game that makes it worth it for you. If you're a anxiety gamer, don't buy it, man. If you're the kind of person that'll go out and buy a PlayStation 5 and once you run out of games, will sell it and go buy an Xbox and then sell it, and don't buy it. This isn't for you. This is not the product for you. You are going to blow your money and waste it. You will waste your money. You will waste your money if you buy this. If you cannot hold on to a system long enough to play it, don't buy it. Don't buy it. It's not for you. It's not for you. It'll be fun. You'll enjoy it for at least the honeymoon phase. But once the honeymoon phase is off, you're stuck with it. You're not going to get that much money back for it. GameStop isn't going to buy them from you. They do not buy VR headsets. So, well, unless something changed in the last little while, don't do that. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for freaking watching. This is awesome, man.